Howdy folks, welcome to Emerald Minecraft. Today our tutorial is going to be going over shelter and different types of housing. Our first type of housing that we're going to go over is an emergency hut. Emergency huts are nice, they're quick and easy to make, cheap, and they can provide you an escape route. These are mostly going to be used if you're going out into the wilderness adventuring and suddenly you find yourself going into nighttime. You need to make yourself a shelter to stop being attacked from mobs that are already chasing you. It's really simple. You just find a little spot and build all the way around you 4 blocks. 4 more blocks on the next height, and to protect you from spiders, or to keep the spiders away from you and from scaring you, you go ahead and jump up on 1 block and build, and then 1 on top. You can see that this is kind of a rudimentary thing, doesn't really do you too much good. You can go ahead and leave off this top block if you'd like to, and any spiders that decide to jump up on top, you can actually attack with your sword. Another nice thing about this is if you really want to make an escape route, you can go ahead and dig through the ground here, and when you hit the base level you dig your way out and escape. Other than that, this type of home isn't really useful for too much, except for a quick fix for safety. The next type of shelter we're going to talk about is called an emergency tower. It's also very quick and cheap, and very, very safe. You have a potential of having creepers explode on you in this small emergency hut. Unfortunately, there is no escape route, but it still provides you quite a bit of benefit in a different way. This is something that's nice on your first night if for some reason you didn't quite get everything done that you wanted to and you have at least 12 blocks. You just grab your spot, build yourself up exactly 12 blocks or higher, and at this height mobs who are on the ground will not be able to see you. As I said earlier, there's no escape route. You're kind of just stuck up here looking at what's around you. But the nice thing is you can look at what's around you. You can spend the rest of the night as mobs run around below you checking out things that are nearby. So for example, if you're looking for some type of food source like this cow, wood, or somewhere to fish, or say a shelter that's nearby, some type of village, it's pretty nice. And what you could also do if you are really inclined is take 8 more pieces of wood, and by sneaking out onto the ledge, holding your shift key, you can actually go ahead and build your shelter out a little bit further and make sure that no spider is going to randomly climb up the side. And for those of you who are even more adventurous, you already made half your house, so why don't you go ahead and continue building around it with whatever other materials you have, and just leave this entire space on top as your shelter, making a ladder up to it. It's not too bad, and since it's such a small space, mobs are not going to be spawning nearby you. Unfortunately, getting down from one of these takes a little bit of time. You obviously have to cut your way back down afterward, gathering up the materials you had before. Next is a very small house. This is also pretty quick and pretty cheap. It has a little bit of space and the ability to expand. You can also add a couple objects to it to make it a little bit more useful. For example, you can make a furnace out of the 8 blocks, and a box out of 8 pieces of wood, a door out of 6 pieces of wood, and a bed out of 3 pieces of wood and 2 wool if you have it. We're also going to be needing to put a roof on top of this, so I have 9 more blocks. Easiest way to build a roof is if you have 1 block above your too high wall, to simply build out from it, such as this. Lighting is no issue for one of these small houses. A few torches around the outside and a torch on the inside, and you're pretty much set to go. Once you're inside your house, grab 4 pieces of wood to make yourself a quick crafting table. Get rid of any annoying mobs that may be nearby. And from there, craft yourself your bed, your box, your door, and your furnace, and your house is going to be pretty much put together, ready to go to take on whatever monsters may be wanting to come against you during the night. Sorry, as I clean this up a little bit. The only part of this house that isn't quite as nice is that once you have a few things inside of it, you're pretty much limited as to what you can be able to place after that. You're obviously going to end up with a lot more items than that. It's also a little claustrophobic. So you might as well move on to a large house. A large house is going to be requiring quite a bit more wood, but in the end it's considerably worth it. A large house is going to have a little bit of cost, it's going to take quite a bit of time, and it's going to require quite a bit of space to make. But in the end, you're going to have a space with which you can build and store everything that you could possibly desire. You can see there's multiple chests here that I can place as many items as I want inside, as well as room for all of my other essential needs. I'm going to have to go ahead and build the back wall of this. To build the wall fastest, the easiest thing to do is to build a pillar, the height of the wall, on either end, and then, walking backward, placing blocks in front of you, and when you get to the end, jump up a block and turn around. This makes sure that your wall always comes up the right size, and that you don't fall off as you build. You can see here that my wall doesn't have corners, or my roof doesn't have corners. This is because it's still going to keep mobs out, but by building in this fashion, I am actually reducing the amount of materials I need by the radius around my house. This is something you can use to help you considerably. One thing that's not nice about any type of house is that you have this nice space on top that monsters can hide. And if a monster gets on top of it, you can't always tell that he's there. Which leads us to the next type of house that we'd like to build. This is called a small keep. It also takes a little bit of time and a little bit of cost, but it also has quite a bit of space and a lot of view space, so you can see what's around you. In the end, it can actually cost you less by making a keep. Keeps are made secure by building what's called an overhang all the way around, in this fashion right here. You can also build this from inside your house in case it's nighttime. What the overhang does is prevent spiders from getting in, while the wall prevents all other mobs from getting in. Once you go inside your house, you're still safe from all monsters unless you climb on the roof and get attacked by some type of skeleton. But you still have all the space you had before, and it's very easy to go ahead and jump up on top of your house. And from here you could actually attack mobs that come nearby, and you can see if they're nearby anyway. You can also use this, just like our tower did, to see what types of resources are around you while you're sitting in your house at night. The next type of house that you may want to build is called a large keep. Large keeps are going to be a combination of your regular house and keep. They're very expensive and very time consuming. They also, however, have lots of space, a large field of view, and quite a bit of security. One side back, though, is a lighting issue. You have to use a lot of torches and place them very strategically to make sure that your house is well lit, as well as the area around it. You'll see, however, that this is a significant improvement on the other types of houses. For example, the amount of space that I have has room inside where it's safe for farms, a mining area where I can both smelt and go down to mine all materials, a space that I can set up for all of my brewing essentials, as well as all of my enchanting essentials, which has enough space to enchant to the highest level, as well as having an indoor farm, a place where I can grow trees safely, and a place where I could fish if I wanted to, with an endless supply of water. I can also climb up on the wall, like I did before, and attack monsters that come nearby and harvest their experience points. And inside, where it's even safer, my bed is even more secure from any creeper attacks, and I still have plenty of room. This is also very easy to build off of. For example, if you want to decorate your house by building towers or other such utilities, it's very easy. One last thing that we'll want to talk about with shelters is going to be your durability of them, is the durability of your walls. So we're going to go ahead and take some items out here that are going to help us with our demonstration and get rid of all this other stuff that we don't really need. For this demonstration, we're going to be creating creepers and allowing them to basically kill us. But the purpose is to see how safe we really are behind certain types of materials. So we have an example bed on one side, and we're going to be on the outside where the creeper is going to explode. Here we have regular wooden planks and one thick wall to see how far this creeper is really going to deal damage. Obviously, you can see it created a considerable hole that's going to be very time-consuming, resource-consuming to fill in, but our house on the inside was very, very well protected. However, we can make this slightly larger wall, which is going to require more resources. But is also going to make it so that a creeper explosion is not exposing our house, and we have time to come back and restore our house afterward. I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of time to make it daylight so we don't get attacked. As we continue our demonstration. Something that's slightly stronger than wood is going to be a cobblestone wall. Using a cobblestone wall is considerably more effective. As you can see, the explosion was the same for the most part, but less of the cobblestone was destroyed, making a wall. Repairing this wall would take less time, and then we could fill in the hole afterward. Something that you may have to resort to if you can't find enough resources is a dirt wall. Using a dirt wall is not always recommended. As you can see, after the explosion, our bed inside was also destroyed. Even a too thick wall, after an explosion by a creeper, is not going to protect our bed from being destroyed. Along with this, you may have to build your house out of sand. While sand is not a very strong building material, it is a very weak protective issue. It has a very weak protective issue. Excuse me while I return. To our demonstration. Didn't expect that second creeper to come up on me. Sorry. My golems aren't doing their job, apparently. Even too thick blocked walls of sand are not going to be able to protect your house very effectively against a creeper explosion. The nice thing is that the sand may fall down and help you fill in your wall afterward. In case you need a stronger house and have lots of sand, a better thing to do would be to actually take your sand and craft it into sandstone. Sandstone is going to be a much stronger material to use, though it's not much stronger than any dirt house that you may build. Building a too thick wall of sandstone, however, is going to help protect your house, while the dirt isn't. Making your house bunkered by using a too thick wall of cobblestone is a very good way to protect your house. Just as the wood did, you're going to have a protected inside of your house still, as the first part of the wall still gets destroyed, the inside does not. And again, the cobblestone is going to be destroyed slightly less than the wood, making a smaller hole afterward. The best material to make your house out of, however, is going to be obsidian. obsidian is one of the strongest materials in the game, and has a durability so strong that obsidian is not destroyed at all by a creeper explosion, making your house inside entirely safe from any explosion on the outside. With different durabilities, you can go ahead and protect your house in different ways, and at better levels. Depending on the resources you have, though, it may become infeasible. For example, having a large keep like this and building your walls too thick is going to be very difficult. Even a house like this could be hard to do. But if you had a house that was somewhere in between the sizes of the small house and this large house, it may be feasible to actually make a wall that's too thick. 2 blocks thick, excuse me. That's it for this tutorial. I hope you learned something about building a house and making yourself safer. And maybe you got some tips on how to build your house quickly and effectively.